Alright guys, don't mind my silliness. Today we're going to put our baking skills to the test by making a pecan pie cheesecake. Yes, it is sweet, but you can always share with friends. So I was a little surprised to see just how many ingredients it took to make a cake literally made of cheese, but in actuality, it's not that many, and each ingredient is definitely needed. I'm going to go ahead and list all of the ingredients in the description down below, and of course, I'm going to let you know as we go through. Of course, your main staples, you definitely need cream cheese. You also need your graham crackers for that crust. Then we have all of our smaller ingredients that go to create that big taste. We have our creams, our sour cream, our heavy whipping cream, our eggs, our flour, brown sugar is a big part, as well as our vanilla and our pecans, and just a pinch of salt. All right, let's get right into it. Take a half cup of brown sugar and place it in the same bowl as your 3 bars of cream cheese. And I really love the fact that I'm making this for the first time, and if you're watching my video, you may be too. So only one of us really has to make the mistakes for us both, which is going to be me. Do not, absolutely, you should not put your eggs in at this time. Honestly, I did not think it was a big deal at first, but it is because my eggs were over battered, which caused cracks in my cheesecake later on. And if you're looking for your cheesecake to be presentable without toppings, you don't want to place your eggs in too early. Okay, go ahead now and drop in 1/4 cups of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, lastly, a tablespoon of vanilla. Another important piece of advice, please do this when your cream cheese is as soft as possible, whether you have to leave it out or microwave it for a little bit, but do not do it when it's extremely solid like I did, because it will cause you some issues. Okay, so earlier I said that I added the eggs too early. That was correct. You're gonna go ahead and begin mixing everything together, but without the eggs. And then once your batter kind of starts to look like this, you want to add in each egg individually and mix. So you're going to add in an egg, mix, add another egg, mix, 3 eggs in total. Okay, so I chose to go with whole graham crackers and to crumble them myself. I realized that it was actually more work than I had anticipated. I did not have the proper tools to crumble them myself. If you have a grinder, I would definitely recommend just crumbling them yourself. But if not, the store also sells graham cracker crumbs, so kind of saves you from all the work that I had to do. Alright, now go ahead and add 5 tablespoons of melted butter. This helps the crust not necessarily to become sticky, but for it to better press down to the bottom of the pan. We are going to need it to be that way. And go ahead and drop in another 1/4 cups of brown sugar. All right, we're going to mix that together. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Honestly, that's what makes cooking fun. All right, you want to get about an 8 or 9 inch non-stick springform pan here, and go ahead and spray it with some oil. Any kind of spray oil is fine. Go ahead and throw that crust mixture in there. And then once you do that, you're gonna want to pat it down. You can just use, honestly, like I did, a measuring cup. It proved to be extremely easy, or you can just use like a spoon or spatula, anything like that, that can go ahead and press it down, or even just your own hands. Now, of course, you want to go ahead and add in that cheesecake mixture. Try to get as much of it as you can. It'll help it to be more fuller or taller if you want it like that. Okay, now just let it cook in the oven from 45 minutes to an hour on temperature 325 degrees. And then after that is up, you want to go ahead, turn the oven off. Prop the oven door open about halfway. Leave the cheesecake in the oven even though the oven is off, and let it sit there for about 30 minutes. Okay, earlier I had mentioned that I experienced some cracking, as you can see here. Now you want to just let your cheesecake sit out for about 2 to 4 hours. It needs to cool completely before you put it into the refrigerator. Once you put it into the refrigerator, it needs to settle from about 5 hours up to overnight. I let mine sit for overnight. All right, now that our cheesecake is taken care of, it's time to tend to our pecans. I went ahead and just broiled them for about 2 to 3 minutes just so that we could have a roasted taste instead of a raw taste. All right, so for getting started with our glaze, that calls for about 2 chunks of butter. Roughly, it amounts to about 6 or 7 tablespoons of melted butter. Now you're going to want to go ahead and drop in 1/2 cup of brown sugar and whisk it together so we can avoid a grittiness. Alright, I added about 2 cups of pecans. You can choose to add as many or as little as you would like. That is totally up to you. And then also you just saw me drop in 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream, still cooking on a low heat. Alright, go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and a pinch of salt. Alright, once it's done cooking, just turn it off, let it cool for a little. You can either top when it's completely cool, or you can top like I did when it's still a little warm. And here is our final result. It looks so incredibly good. It made for great pictures and it was just a beautiful presentation. According to the taste, it was absolutely delicious. Even though it had overcooked just a little, and even though we did have cracking, you couldn't taste any of that. Personally, I thought it had a very rich flavor, so I couldn't even eat a whole slice. I was really excited to try this. I had a lot of fun. In the future, I'll try to perfect it, but for now, pecan pie cheesecake, you've been cooked.